Nadia had spent the last 10 months in a hospital bed, battling for her life. The complications had been severe, but she had fought through them, surviving against all odds. When she was finally discharged, she decided not to tell anyone. She wanted to surprise her husband, Leon. As she stepped out of the taxi onto her street, a strange sight met her eyes. Cars lined the driveway, and the front of the house was decorated with pink and blue balloons. A massive banner hung over the door, reading, "Welcome our little miracles." Nadia's heart pounded in confusion. Her breathing became shallow as she slowly approached the house. Music and laughter spilled from inside. The door was slightly ajar, and as she stepped in, she froze. Standing in the middle of the living room, holding two tiny babies in her arms, was Serena, her best friend. Nadia's eyes darted across the room. Leon's mother, Patricia, was stroking one of the infants while Serena's mother handed out drinks. On the table, an array of gifts was stacked next to a decorated cake with the words, "Welcome home, little ones." Her body trembled as realization sank in. "How's Leon adjusting to fatherhood?" a woman asked. Serena laughed, rocking the babies gently. "Oh, he's amazing. He's been my rock. He painted the nursery himself. He's wanted this for so long." At that moment, Leon entered, carrying a tray of drinks. He walked straight to Serena, wrapping an arm around her waist and kissing the top of her head. "We still need to set up the cribs," he said warmly, "but we picked them out together last week." Nadia couldn't breathe. She felt as if the floor had disappeared beneath her. The moment her mother saw her standing there, her face paled. She rushed toward her. "Nadia, we weren't expecting you today," she stammered, grabbing her arm. "Let's go outside. We need to talk." Nadia yanked her arm away. "Talk? About how my husband had twins with my best friend while I was in a hospital fighting for my life." The room fell silent. Serena turned, her face draining of color. Leon stiffened, his arms still wrapped around her. "Nadia," he began, stepping forward. "Don't," she cut him off, her voice ice cold. "Don't you dare." No one spoke. Even her father, standing in a corner, couldn't meet her eyes. Serena took a hesitant step forward. "We never wanted you to find out like this." "Oh?" Nadia let out a hollow laugh. "Then when were you planning to tell me? Maybe when the twins started calling you Mommy and him Daddy." Leon's mother stepped in. "Nadia, please, think about the babies. Serena doesn't need stress right now." A dark rage ignited in Nadia's chest. "The same way I didn't need stress 10 months ago when I was in that hospital. Where was your concern for me then, Patricia?" Silence. Her own mother whispered, "Honey, I know this is difficult." "Difficult?" Nadia's voice trembled. "For who?" "For me, who was clinging to life while my husband and my best friend were busy playing house? Or for all of you who kept this secret from me?" Leon finally let go of Serena and stepped forward. "Nadia, please, let's talk privately." Nadia scoffed. "Privately? You want privacy now? Where was my privacy when you were sneaking around with my best friend?" Serena's lip quivered. "It wasn't like that. We didn't plan this." Nadia crossed her arms. "Oh, so you just tripped and fell? Onto my husband's bed? And twice, apparently?" Some guests awkwardly grabbed their things, preparing to leave. Her father finally spoke, his voice pleading. "Nadia, calm down." "Calm down?" she repeated, eyes blazing. "No, Dad, I'm perfectly calm. In fact, I'm grateful." Her mother frowned. "Grateful?" "Yes," Nadia said bitterly, "because now I see everyone for what they really are. My husband, a liar, my best friend, a traitor, my own family, a bunch of cowards who would rather protect a secret than protect me." She turned to the gift table, picked up a wrapped box, and tossed it toward her mother. "This one's from you, right?" she asked mockingly. A nice gift for your son-in-law's mistress's babies? Leon exhaled sharply and grabbed the gift from her hands. Enough, Nadia. You're making a fool of yourself. A cold, humorless laugh escaped her lips. No, Leon. You made a fool of me by cheating on me with my best friend while I was lying in a hospital bed. Patricia stood abruptly, outrage flashing across her face. Leon was just looking for happiness. You were always sick, always unavailable. He was lonely. Nadia tilted her head, her voice eerily calm. You're right, Patricia. I was sick. Sick from exhaustion, from working so hard to support a family I thought we were building together. While I was paying the bills, Leon was busy building a new family behind my back. Leon's jaw tightened. Nadia, please. You can keep the house, she said, cutting him off. Keep the furniture. Keep the gifts. But you? She met his eyes with a cold stare. You won't get another cent from me. Leon's brows furrowed. What are you talking about? She smirked. While I was in the hospital, I wasn't just recovering. I was consulting a lawyer. Leon paled. I have every call bank statement, every harm payment, every hardwire expense to prove that I was the sole provider in this marriage. You contributed nothing. She turned to Serena. Did he tell you that? That while he was whispering sweet lies into your ear, I was the one funding his entire lifestyle? Serena looked down, her hands trembling. Nadia took a step toward Leon. You won't see a single cent of my money. You have nothing, without me. And with that, she turned and walked out of the house without looking back. She didn't let them see her tears. They didn't deserve them. But as she got into her car, her hands trembled against the steering wheel. Her phone buzzed with missed calls and messages from her mother, from Leon, even from Serena. She ignored them all. The next morning, she walked into her lawyer's office and handed over the signed divorce papers. Make sure he gets nothing, she said firmly. Her lawyer nodded. You have more than enough evidence. He won't see a dime. As she walked out of the office for the first time in a long time, she felt free. And Leon? His real nightmare was just beginning. 3 days after Nadia walked out, Leon sat in his now empty house, staring at the eviction notice taped to the door. His hands trembled as he ripped it off, scanning the words over and over again, as if doing so would change the reality staring him in the face. Final notice. The property is legally owned by Mrs. Nadia Okoye. Failure to vacate within 48 hours will result in legal action. His heart pounded in panic. The house, the life he had built with Serena. It was all slipping away. Leon, Serena's voice called from the nursery. He closed his eyes, exhaling sharply before turning toward her. She stood there, holding one of the twins, her expression worried. What is it? She asked, shifting the baby to her other arm. Leon crushed the paper in his hand. She's kicking us out. Serena's face paled. What? But I thought... He let out a bitter laugh. You thought what? That she'd just let us keep everything after what we did? Serena swallowed hard. But you told me she wouldn't fight you. You said you had rights to this house. Leon gritted his teeth. I thought I did, but I underestimated her. Serena's breathing quickened. We have nowhere to go, Leon. We have newborns. How could you let this happen? His fists clenched. Me? He shot her a glare. This was just as much your doing as mine. Serena's lip quivered, but before she could respond, the twins started crying. Frustrated, she turned and rocked them, but her hands were shaking. Leon exhaled sharply and pulled out his phone. He dialed Nadia's number for the 100th time. Call declined. Serena set the baby down in the crib and folded her arms. You need to fix this, Leon scoffed. And how do you expect me to do that? Serena's voice rose. You were her husband for years, Leon. Talk to her. Beg if you have to. Leon's pride burned, but he knew she was right. He grabbed his keys and stormed out. Nadia was sipping tea on the balcony of her new apartment when the pounding on her door started. She smirked, already knowing who it was. Taking her time, she set her cup down, stretched, and slowly walked to the door. When she opened it, Leon stood there, his face a mix of desperation and anger. Nadia, we need to talk. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Talk? Didn't we do enough of that at your baby shower? Leon's jaw clenched. Please, you can't do this. I have nowhere to go. Nadia tilted her head. Not my problem. He stepped closer. I made a mistake, okay? A mistake? She let out a bitter laugh. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash. You didn't make mistakes, Leon. You made a choice, over and over again. His nostrils flared. Serena tricked me. Nadia raised an eyebrow. Tricked you? Did she tie you up and force you into bed? Leon opened his mouth, but no words came out. That's what I thought, she said coldly. He exhaled sharply. Fine, be angry, but at least let me stay in the house until I can figure something out. Nadia smirked. Oh, you didn't hear? Hear what? She pulled out her phone, scrolled for a moment, then turned the screen toward him. It was a screenshot of a property listing. Their house was up for sale. Leon's eyes widened in horror. You're selling it? Nadia shrugged. Why would I keep a house filled with bad memories? I already have buyers lined up. Leon's breathing turned ragged. You can't do this. I can, and she said firmly. Leon's hands balled into fists. You're heartless. Nadia smiled. No, Leon. You tajar. I just learned from the best. She stepped back and slammed the door in his face. Outside, Leon stood there, shaking, his entire world crashing down around him. And inside, for the first time in years, Nadia felt truly free. To be continued.